All right, Senior Plat versus Turby. We've got the Half Doom versus quite a lot of toxic and ingenuity. Honestly, Senior Plat was able to re-engineer his team after 𝗂𝗍𝗺 to keep kind of the same heart, but just so much more. He's added, with this Mimic, it adds so much versatility in both passive, playing for the long game, trying to boost up yourself, and the aggressive with the Naga, with the 𝗬𝗵𝗶, with the Nature 𝗧𝗍𝗺. Senior Plat's team is a marvel.
Yeah, absolutely. As you said it, the Mimic alone adding so much versatility. Double Naga, double Nature 𝗧𝗍𝗺, double Mashuk. We've seen it all from the past. And yeah, I'm loving Machia's team, but Turby starting off with that OB2 and the Mental 𝗧𝗧𝗺. So who does Senior Plat want to start us off with? He's eyeing the Naga 𝗧𝗍𝗺 here. Okay. So just wants to get the Sea Aura online. But I'm wondering, isn't it a bit weak to something like a little 𝗧𝗪? I feel like 2 𝗧𝗪s might be enough. But oh, the reactive Vio, of course. Okay, I feel like that's why he feels confident picking it.
I mean, reactive Vial is definitely good, but ×4 weak is also not all that great. I think that a double in might be a little bit too scary, to be completely honest, for Naga. 𝗧𝗪, if it's able to do, 60%, I feel like that's a pretty conservative estimate for a pretty weak attack against a very weak opponent to that attack. I think the Matter Teleport would be able to do the rest.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if anything is up with mental on mental damage. Is always neutral, so it wouldn't be mental damage onto the Iridescent 𝗧𝗧𝗺 to do some big damage. It's always neutral, as we said. But hey, let's find out what Senior Plat has in mind with this Naga start. It is going to be game number 1 of our semifinals. Both of these guys have been in the finals, and I believe both of these guys have tasted victory, absolutely, especially Senior Plat. Turby, I think he has in the past too. I gotta look back, but let's jump into it. It's gonna be the turn 1, and as we said, Turby's OB2 does have some little pressure onto this mental water typing of this Nagais. So does he want to swap potentially into something in the back line? If Mimic came in here, it would be a Yggdrasil, right?
Yes, it all goes clockwise. So if Mimic comes in, it would be Nid. That definitely would take those attacks a little bit better than anybody else would. Mashuk definitely doesn't want to Matter Teleport, and 𝗬𝗵𝗶 absolutely does not want to take any electric techniques early on. So that Mimic might be the only safe swap in for Plat. If he wants to go that way, he might just go aggro, try to do some damage and see what happens.
Yeah, very true. I mean, I'll be impressed if he goes for something like a madness buff, but it doesn't seem too ideal. But should be able to go first under the Sea Aura, and you are protected from those special attacks. So we'll see. I believe Matter Teleport is a physical attack nonetheless. But tricky turn, but Machia felt confident starting up this Naga, so I want to see what he had in mind. I think Turby might keep it straightforward, but oh my goodness, the tenacity going in with the madness buff. All right. Oh, wait a second. So the reactive, wow, what a combo right there.
Now we get to see the pretty colors right after seeing the God tier play, and Hatsu going for a rest, potentially not running 𝗧𝗪. I feel like we saw 𝗧𝗪 against 𝗬𝗵𝗵 in the quarterfinals. I'm not sure what just happened with Hatsu. That might have been unintentional, but I don't know. That Spores play was fantastic. Give Naga nullify. So it probably would have survived that turn even if it had taken the 𝗧𝗪 as well. And now it gets a couple of heals. It's got that madness buff. That was incredible.
Yeah, it's interesting because he did indeed have 𝗧𝗪. He used it to get slingshot value against the 𝗬𝗵𝗵, against the Mudra throughout this tournament. So we do know he has 𝗧𝗪, so I have no idea why you wouldn't throw it out. It goes mine. Oh, you know what it could be? Maybe the minus speed. He doesn't want to make Nagais faster, perhaps, but I don't know, a little counterintuitive, but the 𝗧𝗧𝗺 does get retreat. I hope it wasn't anything like a DC. I hope that was a strategic rest. There's a game plan brewing up in 𝗬𝗶𝗆's head. He's just looking to execute it. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. And it's a double swap for the side of 𝗬𝗵.
Yeah, but double swapping into a madness buff Naga means that you take so much damage. It's nice taking advantage of the Psy Surge, losing out on that low priority, or rather 𝗬𝗫𝗺 a high priority for Plat, but it's still, that was so much damage onto 𝗬𝗵𝗆, which we saw in the quarterfinals. 𝗬𝗵𝗆 was the carry for 𝗬𝗵𝗆. To just lose all of that HP right away on entry means that Senior Plat is looking really good. He still has one more turn of Nullify, which means that Plague and Toxic Ink aren't going to be effective damage. With the +2 special defense, Plague might not even tickle Naga anymore.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to be able to get off as the 𝗬𝗺 Nagas go first, but no, ignoring the 𝗬𝗵𝗆 here, doing over 50%, but let's see, Toxic Ink is going to be removing the little lifeful regen, and those last remaining Toxic Ticks will put Nagas under, but the Plague isn't enough, and no, but it does enough to take it down in a single hit. So damage, oh, wait a second. The handcuffs biting 𝗬𝗵𝗆 in the butt, removing the Toxic Ink. Ouchers. That's the last turn on the 𝗬𝗺, and able to get off a final Psy Surge. Oh my goodness, what no better way. The only word coming to mind is ouch. That's the only thing coming in, because that hurts a little bit. Another Psy Surge. That's an easy kill. Yggdrasil took 50% plus on a beta burst. So did 𝗬𝗵𝗆. Psy Surge always guaranteed to go first. So big damage potential onto 𝗬𝗵𝗆's squad.
Yeah, I mean, if the turn 1 lack of a Tesla prison was a big brain move, that might have been a bit of a slip up there, as allowing Naga to survive, get the Psy Surge off, just sacrificing Yggdrasil to the wolves. I mean, Naga, he does take himself out with no more stamina, but that's absolutely fine with such low HP. With the 𝗬𝗺 gone, that's kind of all that he expected to get out of Naga. But oh boy, Lifeful Sap and Toxic Ink, they don't go too well together, as 𝗬𝗵𝗆 does fall down to the damage itself, and Senior Plat with an incredible lead after looking like he was gonna lose Naga on turn 1.
Yeah, really impressive stuff. I mean, starting things off from that Spores play, it was absolutely phenomenal what Senior Plat has done in this game. Let's see, I mean, 𝗬𝗵𝗆 does have 3 Temtems remaining to his name, one of them being Nagai's, a mental 𝗂𝗍, and that OB2. And you know, Yggdrasil effective into the Nagais, but not so much into the other things. And the mental looking kind of nice into the 𝗵𝗍𝗆, which is brought out onto the board now. So it's going to be the OB2 and the mental 𝗂𝗍. That was the opening lineup for 𝗬𝗵𝗆. And I believe now 𝗬𝗵𝗆 has effective damage into pretty much a lot of that right-hand side. So I believe he might start ignoring Yggdrasil here and then just double up on the 𝗵𝗍𝗆. Doesn't feel too bad. Either an electric or a digital attack does hurt 𝗬𝗵𝗆 in the backline as well. The only thing, as we said earlier, the Mimic to become Yggdrasil, potentially not a bad play to eat up a lot of damage, but oh, maybe not trying to eat a Toxic Ink. But never mind, maybe just trying to get the 𝗬𝗺 online.
Potentially expecting an uppercut as well, as 𝗬𝗵𝗆 likely expects Senior Plat to know that it is in fact a iridescence 𝗂𝗍. And yeah, perfect job into 𝗧𝗵𝗆s the Naga. And Mimic coming out, becoming a Naga as well, is potentially unfortunate for 𝗬𝗵𝗆. But as I say that, we've got the synergy Doom onto 𝗵𝗍𝗆. I mean, Beta Burst doesn't even have to come out. Psy Surge doesn't have to come out. 𝗵𝗍𝗆 is going away very soon.
Yeah, we'll see, of course, double the 𝗬𝗺, flipping everything back on it. So Naga's Fury Mimic will go first. So Psy Surge doing quite a number onto Hatsu there. And man, the Wastewater 𝗵𝗍𝗆, of course, without the 𝗬𝗺, does go first. And the Burrow prio play would have been excellent in the 𝗬𝗺. Now when it's flipped back to normal, not so much. So man, Senior Plat, significant lead so far. I believe he will be taking game number 1 of our semifinals.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that he did have Bush, so that might have been a misread, not knowing that Mimit would counter with the Deceitor of its own and knock it out. I'm not entirely sure. It could have also just been planning for the future, wanting to burrow that turn, expecting to survive, and then Bush the following turn. I don't know. This has been really a series of unfortunate events for 𝗬𝗵, as Senior Plat has just had his number the entire time. And it is a concession for Senior Plat to win game one in a damning fashion.
Your Plat, these guys got in here right away.
Yeah, so Instaban on Cycrox and 𝗬𝗧𝗄𝗽𝗍 leading with Obi once more. I wonder if we'll just see the same thing from Plat. That was incredible, and from the looks of it, there wasn't much that 𝗬𝗵 could do about it. I think that 𝗬𝗧𝗄𝗽 was slow enough that the spores undersped pretty much everybody else, but no, it is Mimit and Nid changing things up a little bit, using this Mimit in such imaginative ways that really we just haven't seen from a lot of other players yet.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe he's leaving up to 𝗬𝗵. He's saying, 𝗬𝗵, what do you want me to mimic here? I mean, pick your poison, because I believe it's that right-hand spot that works in the clockwise direction. So Senor Plat, almost like a blind lead, if you will, because he's just going to take whatever 𝗬𝗵 chooses here. So 𝗬𝗵 has to consider, what does he want to let Senor Plat open with? So it will be the 𝗪𝗪𝗄𝗽. So it's going to have iridescence. So digital doesn't do effective. Okay, this is going to be interesting nonetheless.
I'm wondering here, water cannon is effective, right?
Oh, very
so they
true.
could both just water cannon each other.
So true. So we'll see who has the speed. Of course, 𝗬𝗵 does start with the speed arrow in the case of a tie. But yeah, I'm impressed the boldness of Senor Plat saying, just pick what you want. I'm going to go ahead and get a Mimic going. But either way, rounding out the team, I think 𝗬𝗵 going with the exact same lineup as he did in game number 1. And I believe the same can be said about 𝗪𝗪𝗀. I'm not recognizing any changes. So let's see. Game number 2, Senor Plat trying to make his run into the finals. I believe these players already locked in their ticket into the official league. So congrats to Senor Plat. Congrats to 𝗬𝗵. And then we'll see how the cookie crumbles down the road. But yeah, the 𝗪𝗪𝗄𝗽 does get mimetized there.
I'm wondering how this Mimit is spread TV-wise, as we've seen Plat run it now as a Naga and as a 𝗬𝗪𝗄𝗽𝗍 in the past. So does it have a special attack investment or only physical? If there's no special attack investment at all, it might not be worth going for the water cannon. It might just be worth taking advantage of your TV spread, taking advantage of a higher physical attack stat, and just going for the Matter Teleport. 𝗬𝗵, though, starts off this battle by retreating for his own Yggdrasil. Just wants to have a bit of a mirror match. Water cannon with the synergy. It does so much damage. 𝗂𝗀 down to 12.9%. Just barely hanging on, and it's all because of that doppelganger's brooch.
Yeah, exactly right. So beautiful stuff. Mimit with the doppelganger absolutely busted, and the toxic, doesn't take it out just yet. And 𝗬𝗵 keeps the speed arrow. However, Senor Plat's Mimit did indeed go first, so looking to get off another attack after this one. And yeah, I mean, even on the blue side, it feels like Senor Plat getting the upper hand nice and early. I mean, I know we're only on turn 2, but that was just some big damage. He did get snared though, so that doppelganger no longer there, but a little bit too late. 𝗂𝗀 already down. Just a final little toxic tick will be more than enough to take it down, of course. So we'll see. Can 𝗬𝗵 get off a final, let's say, Matter Teleport just for the damage, or is Senor Plat just going to target it down one more time? Let's see. It looks like the picks are already made. So water can number 2, just for good measure, saying goodbye to 𝗬𝗵's 𝗪𝗪𝗄𝗽𝗍.
Oh man, and then spores followed by the narco hit. Mimit just holding on. No, the poison. Yeah, the poison. It's enough to bring him down. The spores healing regeneration was not enough today, as these Yggdrasils just stare at each other waiting for someone else to come play.
Yeah, absolutely. So 1-for-1 trade, not looking too bad. Let's see what these Tamers want to bring out. So 𝗬𝗵𝗶 does decide on that Obi-2 that he started with. Or not that he started with. Actually, yeah, it was Obi-1 and the Mental Coils. And now the 𝗬𝗵𝗶 coming through. All right, so turn 1 for 𝗬𝗵𝗶's looking like either Heat Up, Wastewater. And I believe those are the only options available to him. Or an E-Punch, of course. Electric Punch as well. But those are already 3 techniques right there. So if he's running something like a Crystal Bite, we're going to have to wait on to that second turn after this one to see if he does indeed have it. But Hatsu's effective into 𝗬𝗵𝗶 if he's able to go first just with a simple Tesla Prison or the Digi Threat, I believe would be online as well.
Yeah, it is Tesla Prison this time. Wants to lower the speed, start things off right. As a Toxic Ink targets Yggdrasil as well, Allergic Spread. Just wants to get those toxic ticks going on 𝗬𝗵𝗶 and do the damage over time. And Wastewater on Yggdrasil as well. Either Senior Plat was expecting a swap to Naga potentially, or just really wanted to do some neutral damage onto Yggdrasil. I think potentially an Electric Punch onto Hatsu would have been a little bit more damage, but I mean, neither here nor there. If Naga had swapped in to give a little bit of Doom synergy for a 𝗬𝗵𝗶, that would have been a fantastic read from Plat.
Yeah, exactly so. And maybe 𝗬𝗵𝗶 reading the read there, not swapping into that Mental Coil, absorbing the Wastewater with the Yggdrasil. But yeah, E-Punch into that direction would have been huge, but it looks like Magia just Toxic v Toxic, but the Spores to heal up. And wait a second, that Spores on yourself. Wow, that's a really cool tech right there.
I absolutely love all of the things that people have been doing with Obi. Both Source and Target Replicator, they both have such a good niche, to the point where I almost don't think that they're niche. I think that they're just good. I think that any situation you put them in, they're going to thrive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Obi-Wan's for sure like an A-tier Temtem currently. Everything we've seen from it looks so good. Not in terms of, offensive pressure, but just the ability to add so much little versatility to your team. Just with that burrow, the bush, saving so much damage from going on is definitely a really, really cool Temtem. And it's so funny because he looks so... he looks so non-menacing, right? He looks like he wouldn't be able to do too much, just here for a good time, not a long time. But the Tesla Prison does bring down the 𝗬𝗵𝗶, very close, but no cigar for that 𝗬𝗵𝗶, not able to do anything before going down.
Just more Toxic Ink spamming into this Yggdrasil spot. It's doing the job. Yggdrasil is pretty low at 27%, but it's taken quite a little while, and 𝗬𝗵𝗶 was sacrificed for the deed. I wonder if it was worth it for Plat, if it was the game plan all along. Maybe just get 𝗬𝗵𝗶 to die for a free swap in. I think 𝗬𝗂𝗽 is definitely a solid Tem. It's also up there with Obi in that A tier at the moment, in my opinion. But I don't know if this is the field that it wants to hang out in.
Yeah, it definitely feels a lot better in front of a Naga, but not so much in the Sea Aura. So wait a second, I think 𝗬𝗵𝗶 taking down 2 of Senior Plat's Temtems and having answers in the back. He has Wolfie, Yggdrasil for that Naga. He has Naga and Hatsu with Digi Threat for the 𝗬𝗂𝗽. And I mean, he's just gonna have to do some brute force onto Senior Plat's Yggdrasil. So 𝗬𝗵𝗶 not looking too bad. It looks like the heal's going a long way, and the bush just to add the bamboozle onto itself and onto his ally Temtem. Source Replicator, such a good work. P-Jab, no connection. Toxic Ink though does connect. Is it enough? No, it is not just yet.
Man, if that perfect jab had connected, I think the Toxic Ink would have been enough to kill there. That would have been maybe even more scary for Plat though if Nate had gone down and 𝗧𝗍𝗍 had a free swap in.
Yeah, so the Sea Aura is always frightening. But you know, with that Wolfie still in the back, Hatsu still at 100% as well. And hey, Burrow, that's a 1 prior place, so not the most ideal. But Obi still has a lot of HP to work with. The same can be said about his stamina. So let's try to consider what could potentially go down here. We saw Senior Plat really prioritizing taking down this Yggdrasil, even just Toxic v Toxic. So I wouldn't put it past it. Something just like a Wastewater Toxic Ink one more time. So here it goes. Wastewater does get thrown out. But is the narco hit coming through this time from the side of 𝗬𝗵?
Yeah, Narco hit a little bit of decent damage and everybody else just resting. 𝗬𝗏𝗃, I'm a little bit surprised by Senior Plat's rest there. He still had enough stamina to take down 𝗬𝗵's Nid, unless the idea wasn't to kill, potentially wanting to leave 𝗬𝗏𝗃 alive so that there is no free Naga swap for 𝗬𝗏. You know, if Plat were to allow 𝗬𝗏's Naga in without his own Naga on the field, then that means 𝗵𝗃 would not be going first and would in fact be going down.
Yeah, we'll see. So Tesla Prison, just because he doesn't have clean answers to 𝗬𝗏𝗃, slowing it down, but that might benefit Magia under the Sea Aura, so we will have to see. But P-Jab, you know, this is such a good play. Magia is saying leave the 𝗬𝗏𝗃, but no, 𝗬𝗏 wants to go down on his own. The spores just to keep 𝗵𝗃 healthier, but you know, that -1 speed might let it thrive in that the Sea Aura environment just to get off those toxic inks off first. So we'll see, but a good P-Jab onto the OB2. We'll see how far that goes. A good wastewater, probably looking to do over 60% or so because of that minus defense. So it's looking quite tight. 3 Temtems to 3 Temtems. The current HP advantage leaning towards 𝗬𝗏's direction. But there's still a lot of game, I want to say. Not too much, but 3 Temtems to pop. Oh, this is getting good. Let's see, though. Shinjin X, as you said. The Sea Aura is online. So just a good beta burst Digithreat onto 𝗵𝗃 might bring it down. Let's take a look.
Yeah, I mean, Naga swapping in for Plat, but this is by no means a safe swap as there's still the Digithreat on the other side. So it does quite a bit of damage and nullifies, but it also dooms. I mean, I guess for as long as this nullification is here, 𝗬𝗏𝗃 can always knock off the doom with spores. So the damage does have to be done. As long as 𝗬𝗏𝗃 is able to survive, that beta burst did quite a lot of damage.
Yeah, so it is -1 speed, so maybe able to go off something, but that side surge being 1 prio, I believe 𝗬𝗏𝗃 should be going down. And Senior Plat definitely doesn't want to swap a 𝗵𝗃 into that side surge. So you know what? The more we see it, the more the game keeps going. I feel like 𝗬𝗏 has the advantage here in the mid to end game. That Doom on Naga is big, as you said. The Spores has to come out to save himself from the Doom. But I think the 1 prio side surge coming online this turn should be enough to clean up that remaining 20% on the 𝗬𝗏𝗃. So 𝗬𝗏, I believe, might be getting game 2. I just don't want to speak too soon.
Yeah, it's definitely pretty scary at the moment for Plat. I mean, if he's able to survive just a little bit longer, potentially wear out the Deceit Aura, 𝗵𝗃 might be able to come in and bring 𝗧𝗵𝗃 down. But that's still asking a lot. And then there's still a 𝗬𝗵𝗆 with full HP and 𝗬𝗏𝗄, who's really just kind of being a menace right now.
Yeah, and forgive me, guys, of course, double the Sea Aura. What am I thinking? Side surge going first. Beta does enough to take down the 𝗬𝗏𝗃 nonetheless. It looks like the -1 speed. Maybe 𝗬𝗏 thinking so far ahead that he knew the double the Sea Aura was eventually going to come down. So that -1 speed allowing that beta burst to connect before the spores, that might have been a big foresight on the side of 𝗬𝗏. But 3 Temtems remaining to his name. Senior Plat final Temtem, and there's nothing Nagas can do to stay alive. I'm trying to think. You can't sleep yourself. I guess you could toxic yourself, but a wastewater onto Nagas, that's pretty much as good as a doom right there.
I mean, it is nullified, so it's not going down right away, but I think when you combine that wastewater damage with any bit of damage at all from 𝗧𝗵𝗃 or 𝗧𝗏𝗺, that it would be going down.
And here goes uppercut on that -1 defense. OB2, the beta burst, is it enough? Let's see. No, it is not. So this Naga is going to be falling down, so all the pressure leaning on 𝗵𝗃. And yeah. Oh, but wait, that was an overexertion, but Naga does go all the way down thanks to the Doom. And yeah, I don't think wait a second. 𝗏𝗃, is DA still online? Yeah, I think it's still online.
No, we didn't see it at the beginning of the turn, so I think it's gone. 𝗬𝗏𝗺 goes first as 𝗧𝗵𝗺 is typically pretty speedy. An uppercut onto 𝗧𝗵𝗺, taking advantage of 𝗧𝗵𝗺's overexertion the previous turn. I don't know though, that minus speed might actually be a little bit too much. Now the 𝗬𝗏𝗺 from 𝗬𝗏𝗺, he's only used it twice this game, and I think that those 2 times were game-winning turns. I think slowing this Mashuk down, if this wastewater doesn't go first, it's absolutely GG. The plague, that's okay. Mashuk very low on HP, he's exhausted, which means this wastewater is going to use so much stamina. It does go first, but it doesn't even kill.
Yeah, absolutely. Beautifully executed for the side of 𝗬𝗏𝗺, and we are heading into a game number 3 situation, guys. 𝗬𝗏𝗺 not going down without a fight, bringing it to Senor Plat, and hey, fantastic stuff, guys. Game 3.
Yeah, absolutely. Their initial bans were very quick and very identical to the first couple of games, as well as some pretty familiar first picks with 𝗬𝗶𝗵𝗶, 𝗦𝘂𝗽𝗽𝗍𝗔, 𝗬𝗏𝗍 all hanging out, having a nice time.
So it looks
potato.
yeah, it looks like it's different. It used to be the Mashuk, but yeah, picking up the potato here. But wait, that's your Dragon's 𝗧𝗏𝗺. That's not potato, that is 𝗧𝗏𝗺. But yeah, potato S over here. But 𝗬𝗏𝗺's saying, wait a minute, I do not like those mimic shenanigans. Let's go ahead and ban it. But you know, I thought the Mashuk ban didn't feel all that bad, but I guess he feels comfortable with narco hit, matter teleport, and the Nagas to take it down. So these guys picked their team so fast, almost a speed run through the semifinals. And this is it. This is literally it for one of these Tamers. As I said before, they both guarantee their spot in the official league. This is just for the bells and whistles, for the Pansuns, and for the flex. for the
watch.
Flex. All right, but either way, 𝗬𝗏𝗺 decided to rest on his 𝗧𝗵𝗺 OB2 last turn. Does he do the same? Let's see if he I mean, he has a turn 1 available. He just didn't want to use it on the game 2.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it could be used this time. I'm wondering, 2 toxic Tems against Iridescence, 𝗂𝗍𝗄, and a digital. There's quite a bit of resistance here on 𝗬𝗏𝗺's side. So I'm wondering what Plat has in mind, using the slower Tems and not quite the most offensive Tems. The Toxic Ink, it gets some good damage with the ticks going, and the Stare potentially miss speed tiering, or maybe built for DA.
Yeah, right. Maybe built for DA indeed, because yeah, someone like Senor Plat usually gets that P-jab uppercut right. And when I say that, of course, the Stare into Toxic Ink. Oh man, yeah, the matter teleport, I am impressed. You go into atom form, like what is atomization? I don't even know if that's a word, but every little particle of 𝗬𝗏𝗀 just split and came back together. So you know, his internal organs aren't the same as they were before, but that's for another day. So 𝗬𝗏𝗀 has narco hit online, of course, his neutral synergy onto the 𝗂𝗍𝗄. But 𝗧𝗵𝗺 Burrow online as well. Bush, not just yet, right? Bush comes online next turn. Not too much damage. So it looks like Senor Plat does swap out, and Nagas does come in. Oh, okay. Removing the little tick of poison here.
We got to talk about that Rainbow Guard animation. Is beautiful. A lot of people might not respect it as much because we don't see it very often. It's a little bit less showy, but that is just a gorgeous animation with the nice little rainbow colors in the middle, making the shield and sword.
Yeah, really, really pretty. Reminds me of the good old SpongeBob, not meme, but you know where he says like imagination, right? The little rainbow thing. But looking cool indeed. But more importantly, that Digi threat going in onto the 𝗧𝗏𝗺. Let's see, does he have anything to do? You know, if he takes himself into trance trait, that would naturally take care of the Doom, but that's just sacrificing some HP. So let's see. I mean, madness both could take him there. Let's take a look. What HP he was at 75, but no, the Stare one more time. So that is a -2 defense on this 𝗂𝗍𝗄.
And then the beta burst just trying to get a little bit closer. The hypnosis now, wait, but alerted from stare.
Wow.
So Noxolotl can still madness buff this turn, knock itself into trance and knock off that Doom. And now that Yggdrasil came out for Obi, the Doom can't be replaced right away. But I'm a little curious as to why stare. I mean, I guess it worked out. The alert status was pretty good, but I'm curious as to why lowering the defense is such a priority when the other Tem on the field is a special attacker.
Yeah, I believe he's just thinking down the road. We saw before 𝗵𝗂𝗇 and an uppercut do a lot. So I believe he's just setting up for a little uppercut to do the rest. But hey, forget the madness buff. Just use Knockout to get you in there. So of course, trance is going to proc. Doom gets pushed to the side. And now +2/+2. But man, that Knockout is going to be taking quite the hit. Reactive Vial saving it from the Plague and Toxic Ink following these next couple turns. Yeah, Rawrzyyy, I believe he just wants like an uppercut to kill. A single uppercut at -2 defense effective damage. I feel 75% isn't unheard of, especially that because of that -2. So it could just be thinking down the road. We've seen it before from players like 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴, where you're just thinking way far ahead. And speaking of the devil, 𝗵𝗂𝗇 does make his entrance for the first time in this game number 3.
Yeah, no, Naga going for this Psy Surge, trying not to overexert, but not really doing too much damage to Yggdrasil, taking a narco hit in the meantime, which is quite a lot of damage. I think this DV as well, because of the Nullify, it's going to do so much damage, and Naga falls down just like that. 𝗵𝗂𝗇 coming in is very nice, though, as it doesn't take too much damage from Yggdrasil, especially after a narco hit's been used, and it is a hard counter for this poor 𝗂𝗏𝗏.
Yeah, not too bad. So it looks like the reactive vial kind of working the other way. And that's how it's supposed to work sometimes. You know, you don't have any weaknesses, but now everything. You don't have any resistances as well. But 𝗬𝗏𝗵, all right, let's see how much he can accomplish. It doesn't seemingly have any effective damage on the board. But the same can be said about 𝗬𝗏𝗏's current state of the board. He doesn't really seemingly has a lot of damage to output onto 𝗧𝗵𝗶𝗴. So maybe it's just a good turn. I mean, besides the 𝗵𝗂𝗏, of course, P-Jab uppercut onto that 𝗂𝗏𝗏 slot. That's about the most damage coming out onto this current state. And that's a visual bug, right, Rawrzyyy? If you look on the scoreboard, Noxolotl at +4/+4. I believe it's only at +2, right? It's always tripping me up.
Yeah, so if we were to disconnect and come back in, it would appear as +2/+2.
Yeah, that is so interesting because it makes a huge difference if people just spectate and look at it one time. But here goes the Plague, so 100 down to 75, a good 25% damage. I'm curious, we haven't seen a heat up on a 𝗬𝗏𝗵 ever, but an uppercut. Okay, a little bit over half of that. Does 𝗬𝗏𝗵 attack a good wastewater potential?
Yeah, Wastewater just finishing up this 𝗂𝗏𝗏, doing so much damage. I love 𝗬𝗏𝗵's trait. I wish that the base stats were just a little bit speedier or bulkier so that 𝗬𝗏𝗵 would be used a little bit more often, because it's such an interesting Tem and it brings so much viability. It's just so difficult and complicated to run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost like a 𝗂𝗀𝗏𝗏 all-in-one, right? It has so much potential coverage. At the same time, a whole lot of weaknesses too, depending on how the user, of course, uses it. E-Punch is online. Hatsu does not want to take that, but at the same time, I believe DigiThreat would also be online. And with 2 Toxic Ticks remaining, 1 DigiThreat plus any attack from Yggdrasil, probably enough to take it down. And that's the only trap Tem, and the bush does come out there. So protecting both of 𝗬𝗏𝗏's Temtems, this is pretty critical.
Yeah, we just taking advantage. Source Replicator so strong. It's not only the evasion, but also the 1 turn of rejuvenation. Of course, the perfect jab knocking off that evasion, followed by the wastewater onto Yggdrasil, and narco hit towards 𝗬𝗏𝗵 instead of 𝗵𝗂𝗏𝗏. Just trying to get the damage while the damage is there. I mean, 𝗬𝗏𝗵's still trapped in for 1 more turn. 1 more Toxic Tick does so much damage, and this Tesla prison will, of course, be enough to finish it off.
Yeah, absolutely. So down the 𝗧𝗵𝗵 goes, as you said, kind of slower and indeed. So the P-jab just to try to bring the 𝗧𝗫 a little bit under as he doesn't have direct answers. But the spores, I'm loving that interaction from 𝗬𝗵𝗵. First time we're seeing it here in the semifinals. Maybe we saw it before, but for me at least. But yeah, just a little healing yourself, because that was always a little downside for 𝗧𝗫. He could always heal up your allies, but he could never heal up himself. So it's a beautiful thing that 𝗬𝗏 allows him to heal himself up. So now we got quite the toxic heavy team remaining for 𝗧𝗵𝗵. Does 𝗬𝗵𝗵 have the tools in the toolbox to get it done against 𝗧𝗵𝗵? This is getting kind of close here.
Yeah, more and more P-jabs onto this 𝗧𝗫. Just wants to do the damage all in one. But that means that Atsu is left alone. The Digi threat and the Narco onto 𝗧𝗫 does so much damage, just doubling in with that effective technique after effective technique. And really, 𝗧𝗫 is not very happy at the moment. These are the two Tems. Well, I guess there's a 𝗂𝗀𝗶𝗵 back there too, but these are the two primary Tems that are doing so much damage and don't really have direct counters right now from Plat. So he's doing the best he can. He's knocking off these perfect jabs. He's trying to do the damage, but it's definitely a lot to ask for.
Yeah, absolutely. P-jab number 4, but I believe it's going to be enough. Toxic Ink does finally take the 𝗧𝗫 down, but I believe now to see 𝗏𝗏𝗏 could come online. 𝗏𝗏 one priority still on this 𝗏𝗏𝗏. So things are looking a bit rough for the side of Magia. I mean, even if it's a mental core, it's just a big matter teleport heading into either slot, looking to take big damage onto 𝗧𝗵𝗵's Tems. But I think just to see 𝗏𝗏𝗏 is looking kind of nice, especially with the reactive vial. He's gonna have to eat most likely that toxic ink, but with the one priority 𝗏𝗏, he should be able to save some good damage, but at the same time, might have to eat a wastewater if it pops the bamboozle. So let's take a look.
Ooh, no, Plat retreating 𝗧𝗫 for 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 says this is the better way to fight you. I don't want to take this damage unnecessarily, but now Digi threat onto 𝗧𝗫 with the Doom synergy. Followed by the Beta Burst onto 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏. Not going to do too much damage thanks to the +2 special defense. And Toxic Ink towards 𝗧𝗍𝗍's reactive vial means that 𝗧𝗍𝗍 might be able to survive an acid reflux.
Yeah, I mean, it says +4 special attack. If it was +4, I don't think it would, but at +2 special attack may be a bit more realistic since it's nullified. But at the same time, as we said from the previous turn, 𝗏𝗏 is a one power move, so I think 𝗬𝗏 keeping that in mind, keeping that up his sleeve, and able to protect his 𝗏𝗏𝗏s from a potential acid reflux depending on the speeds. Actually, we saw the speeds early on. 𝗧𝗫 was faster than 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏, so now into the C aura, acid reflux would go before the 𝗧𝗫𝗏. So that is what's supposed to happen. So size surge, let's see where it's gunning down, probably the non-doom target. So 𝗧𝗏𝗏 going down to 33%. The 𝗏𝗏 does come out, and I think it's going to protect both of these Temtems from that big acid reflux if he goes for it.
Oh yeah, 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 going for the stare instead, not wanting to use the move that has all the holds. The Toxic Ink does do quite a bit of damage, but the damage isn't enough. It's still going to survive the Toxic Tick for this turn, and 𝗧𝗫𝗍's Doom is pretty sure.
Yeah, one proud narco hit though does go first, so 𝗧𝗍𝗍, the 𝗏𝗏𝗏s does fall down. And you know, I'm reading a little bit what 𝗬𝗏 might have said. Was 𝗧𝗵𝗵𝗏 working with a Tailsman 𝗧𝗫𝗍? If he was, a beautiful snare early on, allowing this play to happen right here. So before 𝗧𝗫𝗍 saying goodbye to all his family, buffing up this 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏 just a tad little bit. So 𝗧𝗏, 𝗧𝗏𝗏𝗏, final two Tems, 𝗬𝗏, Hatsu, and the 𝗂𝗀𝗏 final two Tems. And I believe 𝗬𝗏2 is running out of stamina, even though Bush is online, so we could try to do that to protect from a single uppercut. Depends if 𝗧𝗏𝗏's faster than 𝗧𝗏. I believe usually 𝗧𝗏 is faster, and at -1 speed, 𝗧𝗏 should be faster for sure.
So because Hatsu still has that evasion, I don't know if that would make the difference. Uppercut though does kill 𝗂𝗍 in a single attack, which means it's all up to 𝗧𝗵𝗺. Acid Reflux comes through and pops the 𝗬𝗧𝗺. Not that that necessarily matters, as it does resist the toxic attacks. It would be nice to take advantage of that +2 special attack, though.
Yeah, and you know, we're seeing it now, exactly what those early P-jabs were about. And Senor Plat recognizing, if I get 2 P-jabs on that mental 𝗂𝗍, a single uppercut is all it takes. And now applying the same strategy onto this OB2, so P-jab into that half-affected Toxic Ink. The Digi, oh, not enough. And I believe that was an overexertion. It looked like perfect stamina though, but either way, I think 𝗧𝗵𝗺, it might be close, but OB10 has special attack, so 𝗧𝗵𝗺 +2 special defense. I believe he's going to be able to hold on tight. And yeah, 𝗬𝗵𝗺 recognizing the situation. So ladies and gents, Senor Plat heading all the way to the finals.